Yeah, I mean, are you kind of pushing yourself a little bit, revving the engines to get to 99, or was that maybe not intentional?
I mean, I think it's just a culmination of the delivery, timing and things syncing up. I've been Vilo's been really good all spring. I think I don't know if I've been quite there, but pretty close. I'm more concerned with how easy am I getting there. I don't feel like I'm muscling up to get there, so I'm really happy with that.
Gotcha. And then, obviously last year was super strange. You had to wait how many ever months to get this close to a season. Does it feel different? Are you kind of in a better physical place knowing that it's a more normal kind of progression into this season?
Oh yeah, I mean, I had a lot of question marks in my own head last year. It's like, okay, I feel great, but how long is it going to last? And fortunately, I worked hard with our strength guys here to stay on top of things and got through that short season. And then this year, feel just a lot more prepared. Body feels really good, and ready to go and ready to do 162 this time.
And then one more thing, separately, I'm curious if this is a coincidence or if there's something to it that several players here recently have mentioned that they've found a benefit recently to some breathing exercises, specifically within a game. Are you having conversations about some techniques, sort of focus techniques that you're well aware of that are helpful?
I mean, I've definitely had some of those conversations. I don't know if it's with the guys that you spoke to, but I'm a big proponent of it. It's a big part of my life and my baseball game. So I don't know if that came from me or not, or maybe something they saw me do. I'm not sure, but yeah, you'll see me do it in the clubhouse before the game or whatever, and then try to take things, kind of quicker things into the game too. Just refocus techniques and just trying to be really mindful and keep myself in the present when I'm on the mound. I think that's been a big reason I've been able to be consistent the past year.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I mean, I could have asked if it came from you, but it was just something kind of noticing. But yeah.
No, that's awesome. It's good to hear.
Yeah, right on.
I'll go to Danielle. Go ahead, Danielle.
Hi, Daniel. I was listening to the podcast you were on a couple weeks ago, and you made a really interesting comment about the signature test and how you kind of compare your pitching approach to that. I was kind of wondering if you could expand on that, and if that's something you still practice.
Well, it's not something I practice. It was just kind of like an illustration for, I think what you're referring to is I compared, a lot of guys when they struggle hitting or pitching, but just, something, they feel like something's mechanically wrong. So they go back and watch video of when they were having success. And then they try to recreate that perfect mechanics, perfect movement on the field. And it's really hard to do when you're just telling your body the positions to get into. So the illustration I think you're talking about is if you sign your name, you don't think about it and you write your signature. And then if I asked you to copy the exact same signature and you went really slow and tried to make every line and everything perfect, it wouldn't look the same, just because there's a certain beauty and ease and repeatability that comes from just doing something fast with freedom and not thinking about it. So I think that's what you're talking about.
Yes, yeah. And so kind of along those lines, when you find yourself overthinking, trying to, think about every movement in your pitch, how do you kind of stop yourself from that and take a step back?
I just have a really, it still happens time to time where I just find myself maybe missing with a pitch and trying to break it down. And I've developed kind of a really specific process, mental process to get myself back on track. And I just have some simple checkpoints that I go through. I mean, it would take me 5 minutes to explain it, but I could do it in my head in a few seconds between pitches. And they're really simple things that get me locked back in mentally and physically.
And those breathing exercises that you were just talking about earlier, are those things that you've done your whole career or something you've picked up, in your later years?
No, those are some things I learned kind of toward the end of my last career or before I retired. I think I started to kind of get into that stuff and didn't really have enough time to see the full benefit of it, I think, before I retired. And then I worked in the, kind of in the mental skills world, I guess, for 2 years. So it's a big part of a lot of things that are being taught around not just baseball, but all sports. Different, meditation, mindfulness, and just like breathing exercises that really help your kind of mind and body like work together rather than fighting each other. So that's what I've found.
Thank you.
Patrick Saunders.
Hi, Daniel. A two-part question for you. I was looking through your bio here in your early career with the Red Sox. The strikeout rate was super high. My question for you is this. One, are you surprised after everything you've been through, and now you're, I believe, 35 years old, that you can still unleash a 99-mile-an-hour fastball? And the second part of my question is, after all of you've been through, do you think you're a better pitcher now than you were when you were kind of making a big splash with the Red Sox back in the day?
Sometimes I'm surprised that it comes out as hard as it does, but after last year and the way things have felt and gone this spring, it's kind of what I expect to myself. I don't think I have to be throwing that hard to get outs, but it's nice. It's definitely a perk that I'm not gonna turn down. And then as far as whether I'm better, I don't know. I think that time will tell. As I get more innings under my belt and hopefully a few more seasons, I feel better. Like I feel more confident now than I ever have. I feel like my delivery is as good as it's ever been. Which is kind of crazy given the ups and downs. But yeah, I think, like I said, I'm a big proponent of working hard at the mental game. And for me, like I think I just got, I don't want to say lucky, I put a lot of work into it too, but good genetics play a role, whatever, like to stay healthy and be able to stay strong enough this late into my career to throw hard has been nice. But I think mentally, that's where like I've really worked hard to put myself in a place where I can allow my body to be free and go do the things that we all train to do. Does that answer your question?
It does. And I actually have one more very quick follow. We all know what you went through last year. You were trying to make the team, and we all know what happened. Have you been able to allow yourself to really enjoy the process of spring training this year more than you have in quite a few years?
Oh, for sure. I try not to take it for granted and know that while I may not have to make the team, I still had things to prove and, proved that last year wasn't a fluke. So I came in with that mindset, and, in addition to just making sure I'm as physically and mentally prepared as I can be for opening day. It has allowed me to do other things, I think, and having like coached for a couple years, I think I've tried to get more involved in the game planning that we're doing for the pitching, scouting reports, things like that, like getting them as concise as possible. And I've worked with Daryl Scott and Doug Bernier, who does a lot of the advanced stuff, and really like they've been awesome, working really hard to get everything up to date and just take everybody's got piles of data and analytics now, but it's like, how do you get them to the players? And that's where I think we've worked hard this spring. I've tried to be involved in that, which I never would have done in the past when I was younger. I wouldn't have felt comfortable doing that. But now it's like, if I can help our other guys in the bullpen and maybe some of our starters, like use those scouting reports and make them simpler and use better information, then I've tried to help with that. So it's been fun. I've learned a lot, and I'm hoping it makes us a better pitching staff.
Great, thank you. I appreciate it.
I'll go to Thomas Harding and then finish up with Tracy. Thomas?
Daniel, early in your career, did you throw this hard in spring training? Has this always been kind of part of your MO, or did it take a while to get up to the velocities we're seeing right now?
I don't remember. We didn't, like the whole like having the radar gun up on the board is kind of a new thing. They used to be scared to put that up in spring training because they thought guys would like pitch to the radar gun and hurt themselves. And now it's like guys are pitching to a radar gun all off season, including myself. And so like you're just used to it, and all that information is just more available now. So I don't know what I was throwing back then. I knew it was like at times I'd run it up there pretty hard, but no, you'd have to go ask my coaches or some scouts that saw me. I'm really not sure.
Was that a priority for you in spring training? Running it up there pretty hard.
I mean, I think you want to see the ability to at least pop those numbers, whatever you're, for me, I know what the kind of the top end is for me. I want to at least be able to touch those numbers. You wouldn't want to be sitting 3, 4, or 5 miles an hour below and then just hope that it shows up on opening day. At least I wouldn't. So I'd like to at least be able to touch those numbers to know like, okay, it's in there when I need it. When the adrenaline's flowing, we can reach back for it. But I wouldn't say it's a goal. It's just you just want to come in and feel good, and the hitters' reactions tell you everything. If they look comfortable swinging against your fastball, then maybe we need a little more on it. And if they're uncomfortable swings and you're getting guys late on it, really doesn't matter how hard it is. The hitters tell you the most.
And do you feel like as a bullpen, you guys feel that guys are where they need to be, or right now does it still feel like maybe there's just a little bit more you have to get to be ready for the regular season?
No, I think we're ready. I mean, I think the roles are going to kind of sort themselves out. What that looks like a month from now, I'm not really sure. But I know we do have a handful of guys throwing the ball really well. We might have some big contributions from some names that a lot of people don't know, which is going to be fun to watch. So I don't know what's going to happen. I know we got a good group. We got a group that really roots for each other, which is not always the case, because we are competing with each other every day at the same time. So, but guys want to see each other do well. I take it hard when I see one of my boys have a tough outing, and just try to support them. And if I can help, I help. If not, just be there for them. But I think, like I said, we've got the pieces to be a really good bullpen. It's going to take a few guys stepping up, but I hope that happens.
Last one from me. I saw your Instagram post about Mike Bell. That seemed to happen really fast. And is he a guy that you'll be thinking about, I guess, throughout the season, or are there little things you could do to kind of honor what he's done for you?
Absolutely, man. It was horrible news the other day. I just found out a few days before. I missed the original release that he was sick back in early February, and then I heard maybe 4 days ago that he was sick and that he wasn't doing great. But I still thought he's had a couple months to live, and I got the news 2 days after that he had passed. So just really tough. I feel for his family. He's got young kids, but I really wanted to emphasize just the impact he had on me, my life, my career. Like he was my first boss when I ended my playing career, and he was like so instrumental in just like me seeing value in myself and like seeing my career in a different light. He's like, you have so much to offer these young guys. He was really supportive. We had long conversations about the mental side of the game, because we had both had our struggles as players, he and I, and long conversations. And he just a really authentic, great communicator. I can't say enough good things, but my 2 years with him, I'll never forget.
Hey, thank you very much.
Daniel, how different is your appreciation for what you've accomplished in the last year and a half from when you first got to the big leagues and probably thought you were supposed to be there?
I think it's pretty different. I think when I was younger, you just kind of not that you expect it, but I was a high round pick, and there was expectations that you show up in the big leagues a couple years later and do well. And I kind of just saw that as the natural progression. Like, you get drafted high, you pitch your couple years in the minors, and you're a big leaguer. And having had it taken away from me, I think you just, you appreciate it a lot more, for sure. And I think when you see how, having had it taken away one time, you realize, this stuff doesn't last forever. So I just try to enjoy every day and enjoy the people, enjoy the fans, enjoy the competition, the opportunity to come out here and compete. So, and then you see, there's been so many injuries this camp, not just our team, but across the league, some more serious than others, but it's a constant reminder that, we're humans and we're fragile, and someday it ends, So I'm just thankful for every day I get to put on a uniform.
Is there other times that you still think back, like, is this really happening? Did I really get this back turned around? Is this for real?
Maybe a little bit. Definitely last year, I think it would kick in every once in a while, and I'd kind of have to like tamp it down and say, all right, we got a job to do tonight. This year, I think it's been, it's still only been a year, but it's been long enough where I feel comfortable in this role, and I feel like myself every time I take the ball, and I'm just enjoying it and trying to get the most out of it.
And just finally, Jerry Narron sends his regards. He's very proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, tell him I said hello.
I will.
All right, looks like Nick Roque had one follow-up, and then we'll finish it up. Nick, go ahead.
Yeah, Daniel, since you mentioned Mike, is there, and I hate to put you on the spot like this, but is there any story or anecdote that you remember from your time with him, that might give people who don't know him a sense of who he was as a person?
That might be tough. Yeah, let me think for a second. I'm having trouble thinking of like a specific story that wouldn't, I don't know if this isn't specific, but he, there's guys getting released all the time across pro baseball, like lower level minor leaguers that most people never hear about. And Mike hated releasing guys. I don't think anybody enjoys it, but I could tell, I saw him come to tears multiple times sitting in meetings where he had to release guys, because he knew the work that went into it. This was these guys' livelihood, their childhood dream coming to an end, and you just don't see that. You don't see tears in a release meeting that often. I'm sure there's other guys out there like that, but he was the first I saw, and he gave a lot of chances, second chances, to players, to guys like me who put me in a coaching role when I couldn't figure my own stuff out. And he had deep belief in guys that people deserve second chances. I think there was a couple instances, I don't know the names, of some players who had like some addiction issues, and no other team would even touch them. And he gave guys second chances and stuck them out. Gave them a contract, stuck them in AA, AAA to give them another chance to prove themselves after they had gone through rehab and things like that, which scares a lot of teams away. But he was like, man, these are people, and they're battling hard things, and he, I don't know, man, he had a heart for those people, and I'll never forget those moments.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for the time, Daniel. Appreciate it.